Borderlands 4 isn't just another looter shooter. It is a massive reimagining of everything that makes this franchise tick. From a completely overhauled loot system, weapon customization, smarter enemies, smoother co-op, to a world that actually feels alive. This is the Borderlands evolution you didn't know you were waiting for. And today, we're talking all about it. Welcome to the Borderlands 4 Ultimate Starter Guide. Stick around because we're breaking down every system and feature that you need to know before you jump in. To get us started, let's talk about when Borderlands 4 is going to launch. This game's launching on September 12th, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Nintendo Switch 2 players can dive in just a few weeks later on October 3rd, 2025. All platforms are promised full feature parity, and yes, crossplay is enabled at launch for console and PC. But let's dive into the actual nitty-gritty of Borderlands. What are we going to be doing this time around, and how does it differ from Borderlands 3 and previous entries into the series? So the tone of Borderlands 4 takes a step back from the non-stop absurdity of Borderlands 3, this overall meme-heavy, and that drove a lot of players, myself included, away from the game. So in 4, humor is still here, but it's wrapped in something darker, a little bit more mature, a little more focused. The main villain, the Timekeeper, is threatening to unravel reality using temporal manipulation, and you'll feel the consequences across the story and across world design. Expect heavier themes, things like regret, recursion, betrayal, but still with all of the wild personalities, meta jokes, over-the-top shootouts, those things are all going to still happen, but just know it's going to be wrapped and sort of draped in this darker and heavier theme. Claptrap is back, as always. He is this series' Mario, and he's going to return with a surprising emotional arc that gives the fan favorite bot some actual depth for the first time in the series. He's not just the person with the kick me sign on the back of them. He'll actually have a little bit of personality and growth according to the developers. Now with all of that, let's meet the Vault Hunters that we get to play as this time around, because these are some of the coolest ones that we've seen so far. Let's get things kicked off with Ewin, the Forge Knight. So if you love being a wall between your squad and then all of the chaos of Borderlands 4, this guy is your dream pick. So Ewin's action skills are all about mixing tanking and explosive melee damage. With Crucible, he hurls a twin axe, dealing cryo damage on the way out and incendiary damage on the way back in, literally priming enemies to detonate when they drop. Scourge lets him raise a shield that soaks up incoming damage, giving him damage reduction, but then also allowing you to unleash a freezing shockwave once it's charged, locking enemies in place and setting up some really cool combos with your friends. And if you just want pure aggression, Onslaughter turns him into this rocket-powered brawler with a devastating punch. What ties it all together is his unique trait, Forge Skill. Depending on what action skill you're using, you get a bonus move, like Firewall, a barrier that buffs allies' shots, or Molten Slam, which crushes anything nearby under molten fire damage. So the overall vibe here with Ewin is for players who want to be loud, tanky, and incredibly hard to ignore. You're not hiding in cover, you are the cover. Next up is Harlow, the Gravatar. She is a battlefield scientist who turns physics itself into a weapon. And if you love gadgets and setups, this is 100% your Vault Hunter. This is the one I'm leaning. I'm sort of torn between Harlow and Vex. I've always played a Siren, but Harlow is really kind of pulling me over. So her action skills focus on manipulating enemies and space itself, to be honest. You have Chroma Accelerator. This skill fires an energy orb that chills everything in its path before detonating into a burst of radiation. You have another one called Zero Point that drops a stasis bubble that suspends enemies helplessly in midair, letting you just kind of pot shot them out of the sky. And then when it collapses, they slam down to the ground. So whoever's left over up there is going to come crashing down and gravity is going to turn back on. Don't worry. And then there's the Flux Generator, which deals cryo damage over time while also shielding allies in its radius. Now, her trait is called Entanglement, and this adds even more kind of chaos to everything, and this is what really pulled me into Harlow originally. So enemies hit by her skills get linked together, and then they begin sharing damage across the whole group. So if you shoot one, you're actually hurting everything. Incredibly powerful for ad clear. This is the type of playstyle I really like. So this is what kind of, like I said, originally pulled me in. So if Eamon's vibe is unstoppable juggernaut, Harlow's vibe is battlefield controller. She rewards careful placement, timing, and just a little bit of mad scientist energy and just a little bit of experimentation. So if you're somebody who falls into that category, this is definitely the character for you. Next, we have Rafa, the Exo Soldier. This is one that I've heard a lot about from many other players, people that I work with, people that I game with. Everyone really seems to like Rafa. So he's an ex-TDOR trooper who stole his own prototype suit. And if you're the kind of player who just can't pick one playstyle, this guy was made for you. So Rafa's kit is all about flexibility. You have arc knives. This equips dual energy blades, letting you go full kind of hack and slash mode before sending out like a whirlwind. If you want firepower, you have the Peacebreaker cannons to light up the battlefield with shoulder-mounted barrages, and with upgrades, you can even convert this into an auto turret. So for those of you Roland mains back in the day, you're going to have an auto turret back. Finally, you have the Apophis Lance. This turns his arm into a plasma cannon with multiple charge levels for pinpoint destruction, allowing you to deal maximum carnage. Now, his trait, Overdrive, keeps the aggression rolling. You're kind of seeing a theme here through Borderlands 4. It seems aggression is something that they want every character to have, which is very, very Borderlands. So as long as any action skill is active, Rafa gains movement speed and also damage buffs. So the more that you keep things up, the more damage and more speed you're going to gain, and the more unstoppable he's going to feel. So Rafa is the Swiss Army knife of Borderlands 4. He's not the tankiest, not the flashiest, but if you like having an answer to every situation and you absolutely crave flexibility, Rafa is 100% your pick. And finally, we have the character that typically always gets the spotlight in Borderlands, the Siren. Meet Vex, the first Siren to actually focus and incorporate kinetic power into her kit rather than just pure elemental magic. In the past, it always seemed to be we're focusing on fire or ice or something elemental, but this time around, we're focusing more on kinetic energy. So she's equal parts necromancer and ranger. And she also comes with a spectral companion named Trouble. It's like this nine tails tiger thing. Looks fantastic. And again, sirens are my jam, so Vex is really kind of pulling me towards that side as well. This is why it's so hard. I'm very split. So Vex's big mechanic is called attunement. So instead of locking into one element, she swaps between whatever element her weapon is. So if you have a kinetic weapon, you gain lifesteal. A corrosive weapon, you get splash damage, radiation, incendiary, shock, cryo, etc. As you use these different weapons, you're going to get different elemental effects, and all of your skills are going to pick up that element as well. And then each attunement adds lasting effects, letting her kind of adapt mid-fight, mix and match. Then on top of that, she also specializes in minion summons and kill skills that chain buffs across fights, things like cooldown resets. You have, like I mentioned, lifesteal, so you get heals there, you can stack crit damage. It makes her a very, very strong snowball type character where it takes a minute to get her rolling and build up some combos, but once she does, she can deal some incredible damage. So if you love being flashy, if you like summons, minions, if you like kind of the whole Siren play style where you're this sort of like cosmic caster, Vex is hands down your match. Just be ready, because I think she's going to be one that's going to require a lot of cooldown and maintenance, a little bit more micromanagement to kind of make sure you get the most out of her. But if you do, I feel like she's going to top the charts. So if you're somebody who plays in a group, you're probably wondering, how do all four of these fit together? Well, Eamon holds the front line and keeps enemies busy. Harlow manipulates the battlefield, weakening, locking down groups, putting them in the sky, slamming them to the ground. Rafa flexes between damage, melee, and support, depending on what's needed. And Vex overwhelms the field with lifesteal, minions, elemental chaos, all of it. So together, this is one of the most interesting and I would imagine most balanced Borderlands lineups yet. Solo players might find Eamon and Rafa more forgiving, while Harlow and Vex will truly shine in co-op with teammates who can back them up and help kind of support and set them up for some big damage. So for me, if I had to break these down for you guys, if you're somebody new to the series or you're new to Borderlands, Eamon's straightforward durability makes him a great starter. I would look at him. If you are somebody who is flexible and you want to be able to switch and kind of dip your toe in different play styles, Rafa's probably your guy. If you're a thinker who likes setting things up like traps, like combos, those type of things, Harlow's gadgets are going to be your playground. You want to make sure to explore those. And if you want a high skill ceiling and crazy combos with a little bit more management, I think Vex will keep you hooked and be just enough for you to explore and figure out how to play. So that's who we get to play as. Now let's talk about the hardware they get to use. So Borderlands 4 features 8 fully supported weapon manufacturers like the previous games. We have Jacobs, which is our critical hit powerhouse. High damage, no frills, very straightforward. Or Tediore. You can reload this weapon by throwing it. It turns every mag dump into a tactical explosion or a turret, one of the more creative things that we've seen in the Borderlands series. Malawan, elemental beasts with dual fire mode options. Torque, obviously, stick bombs, big boom, perfect for splash builds, things you want to see go boom, explode. Vladhoff, high fire rate with alternate barrels, underbarrel attachments, a lot of things you can do there. And then we have some new ones to the series. We have Order. This is an energy chaining weapon that excels in crowd control. And we have Daedalus, which is a tech-heavy and adaptive based on player movement. So different ways you move, slower, faster, is going to affect the fire rate of this weapon. We also have Ripper, which is a melee integrated firearm that combo with close range finishers. Reminds me of Gears of War. And then you have 3 brands that are only appearing as weapon parts this time around. So you have Hyperion, which is accuracy over time, plus the shields. You have your COV, which is endless mags, but they overheat. And you have Atlas. These are the smart bullets and the enemy tracking perks. So I say that these only show up as weapon parts. Let's talk about why. So Borderlands 4 has a new system called the Licensed Parts System, and this lets weapons drop that combine traits from multiple brands. So for instance, you could find a Malawan pistol with a Tediore reload and a Hyperion stabilizer. Hybrid weapons that feel unique, and I'm not going to say they're build defining, but they're just different. It's something that is going to be a new complexity, a new wrinkle that you can work into whatever you find. So for instance, let's say you really love the Tediore reload. You can have that with the Torg kind of big boom mentality. So there's a lot of different really cool things you can do, and I think it's going to make weapon drops a little bit more interesting. And don't worry, we still have the classic Borderlands billions of guns that are in the game, right? Loot is still king in Borderlands 4, but the systems have been refined for better pacing and more meaningful rewards. Let's get to it. So 1, grenades and heavy weapons now operate on cooldown systems, freeing up inventory slots and encouraging smarter usage. The new firmware mod system rewards matching sets. If you collect 2, 4, or 6 gear pieces from a specific firmware type, you can unlock passive bonuses, just like you would see in other games. Division is a good example. You go get that set bonus, and then suddenly your build comes online and you're able to do some really cool stuff. For the first time, Borderlands 4 is adding that as well. Gear can also be, I'll say, modded. It lets you sort of carry firmware traits forward with a bit of in-game currency, so that way if you have something you really like, you can transfer it using the transfer machine. But the one thing I don't know is if there is a limit on how far you can do this. Can you take something and transfer it multiple times, or is there a cap? That's something I don't know. If you know that, drop it in the comments section below. And then also the big deal, this is a huge thing, pearlescent tier of rarity is back. This is ultra rare chase loot, very exciting. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the endgame section, but just know this one's back. A lot of people are really hyped. So every drop in the game has a little bit more depth and potential synergy with the new license system, with the firmware stuff, being able to mod and transfer these things and carry them forward. There's a lot you can do. And this is ideal for players who love theory crafting and optimizing builds. So if you're somebody like myself who really loves that type of stuff, this is, again, going to be a wonderful place for you to spend your time. Let's talk about some of the HUD and compass and minimap improvements. So the user interface upgrades are more than just cosmetic this time around. The traditional minimap has been refined into this like sort of 3D overlay type thing. You have this minimap compass type deal. This was a big point of contention, because they originally got rid of the minimap altogether and they just had a compass, and they said, hey, we're just going to put waypoints on your compass and you kind of just run around and explore, because we don't want people looking at a minimap the whole time. That's great, but There was so much backlash for this. They ended up adding a mini map back in. Now, I don't think it's going to be like a in-depth, fully functional, realistic one, but it's still going to let you see what's around you, which is good. And then we also have that 360-degree compass that shows those dynamic quest objectives, loot beacons, fast travel zones, all of that stuff is all based up there on your compass heading. And I want to talk about some of the quality of life stuff because a bunch of fan-requested features have made it into the game. So one, fast travel from anywhere. No more jogging to stations. You can just click, go, you're fast traveled. A ping system for both solo and co-op. Drop in, drop out matchmaking with seamless loot scaling. A gear comparison UI upgrade. It's much cleaner. It supports batch salvage, favorite tags, auto junk filters. It has a ton of stuff in there that make managing all of your gear much easier because, again, you have a game with billions of guns and billions of pieces of equipment. It's really hard to manage and comparison all of those things if you don't have a good system that supports it. And then lastly, controller remapping, subtitle scaling, and custom HUD layouts for those of you who are desiring some more accessibility stuff right out of the box. One of the biggest things that I'm really excited about is how co-op is going to work in Borderlands 4. In my opinion, this looks like the best it's ever been. So you have 4-player online, 2-player split screen, which is great, cross-play between PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. We have instance loot. Now, this is the thing that I really like. So instance loot means you open up a chest and the loot falls onto the ground. That loot is yours. It's for you. No more having to fight over it, share it, figure out, okay, who really needs this gun? Is this the chase item? What are you really looking for? Oh, darn, you know, a pearlescent dropped or legendaries dropped. How do we split these things up? Do we roll on them? It cuts out all of the extra fluff. It cuts out all of the management and just you open it and you get what you get. And that's just, boom, done. You can still drop items, you can still trade them and do things like that, but your loot is your loot. Enemy level scaling ensures that every player contributes, no matter their power level, which is great. Being able to incorporate all of your party into an actual play session is fantastic. You know, there are times when getting just hard carried through stuff is fun and I want to do that, but there are other times where I'm like, I don't really just want to sit here and just get drugged through everything. I want to actually contribute. And then shared fast travel and objective syncing to improve pacing and reduce friction between the group members. So being able to actually be on the same page, fast travel together, all of those things. Now, with all of that stuff out of the way, I want to talk about Endgame and what comes next, because to me, this is one of the most important things. Borderlands has a history of absolutely making a huge impact when it lands, but then petering out, I'm not going to say quickly, but moderately over time, where it just kind of fades into the background. Borderlands 3 did this incredibly fast. Borderlands 2 had quite long legs to it, and I'm hoping 4 has figured out how to fix this problem. Let's talk about what they're doing from Endgame, as well as go over their post-launch roadmap. Now, on paper, this is the most ambitious Endgame plan we've ever seen for the series. But as with all looter shooters, what looks great in a roadmap doesn't always land in practice. So in this video, we're going to break down what's new and how it compares to what we've seen in earlier Borderlands titles. So let's go ahead and let's jump in. So we're going to start with the centerpiece, the reimagined Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. In Borderlands 2 and 3, Ultimate Vault Hunter mode meant replaying the entire campaign at a higher difficulty. Borderlands 4 changes that. Once you finish the story, this new mode unlocks immediately. You can even start a new character at level 30 to skip straight to the end game. Thank goodness. There's one thing that annoys me about this new kind of seasonal model that all of these different looter shooters, top-down ARPGs sort of embrace, and that is you have to run through the story multiple times, you will enjoy the story, you will spend your time there, and you will like it. And it just is such a burnout. It's brutal. So being able to skip straight to the end game, bravo, claps all around, love that. And instead of just scaling up health bars, this new mode has 5 escalating tiers that are unlocked through curated mission challenges. Each tier ramps up the challenge and the rewards. We also have a new twist that gets added in, and that's the new firmware system. So gear like rep kits, ordnance, class mods, and shields now carry set bonuses, minor, major, and full. These bonuses can be transferred to other items using a transfer machine, giving you more control over your builds. Think of these literally like sets. If you think of any other game like a Diablo or Destiny or Division, then you go and you collect pieces of a set. Once you collect enough of them, then you unlock specific bonuses. This is a similar system here. On top of that, a new specializations tree unlocks after the campaign. You can think of it like Guardian ranks from Borderlands 3, but heavily expanded. It offers account-wide buffs, passive upgrades, and build variety for long-term progression. So that's the kind of centerpiece. Now let's move on to the weekly loop, because this is where Borderlands 4 leans into sort of a live service type design. So we've got 3 pillars. We have 1, the weekly wildcards. These are rotating missions with guaranteed rewards, things you want to go do. Then we have Moxie's big encore boss, which is a weekly spotlight boss that you enter with Iridium with a shot at exclusive loot. So this is a story or campaign boss that you're going to go redo. It's going to be souped up, and you're going to have a specific thing that you can get if you're able to beat that boss. And then lastly, we have Maurice's Black Market Machine. This machine is found in a new location each week. The spot's the same for all players, but the loot inside is individualized. Now here's the thing, this reminds me a lot of Xur, right? Where Xur travels around, you have to find him. We have the Where's Xur website, and you go and then you can pick up some cool loot from them. So it looks like they're leaning again into the Xur experience with this Black Market Machine. Now, this is all different from Borderlands 3's limited time events. Instead of waiting for holidays or patches, Borderlands 4 is trying to bake in some replayable, refreshing content right into the weekly cycle. I hope they're able to pull it off, because if they are, this is going to be a fantastic time for Borderlands players. So let's talk the free content that's going to be coming, because they're talking about this pretty heavily. Gearbox isn't just focusing on DLC this time around. Instead, they're also going to be bringing in some free stuff. So first up is the Horrors of Kairos. This is a mini event launching in October. You're going to expect some spooky weather effects, cosmetics, unique loot, those type of things sort of surrounding these events. Then we've got invincible bosses. These are apparently raid-style encounters that drop the highest tier loot. These will be added later in 2025, and according to online sources, they are farmable. Fans of Borderlands 2 will remember how core farming invincible bosses was the long-term grind. This is going to be the same thing here. Now, the thing that's going to be interesting, and I want you guys to pay particular note to, is that this is not coming until later. A lot of these things are not going to be available right when Borderlands 4 launches. So right when the game launches, a lot of this stuff is going to be in the near future. So be prepared for a little bit of a, I'm going to say like a boring kind of cycle at the end game until some of these systems come online and until we're able to get into some of this content. I don't want you guys to go into this thinking all of this stuff is available and it's going to be just this wealth of things to do. Instead, we're going to have to be a little bit patient, and we're going to get these things as they become available. Next, let's talk about one of the biggest things in the game. This was a massive announcement. If you look at all of the big Borderlands creators like Epic and Moxie and Jolt's Dude, they are over the moon that Pearlescent is back. So Pearlescent is a rarity that sits above Legendary. These are ultra rare chase items. These haven't appeared since Borderlands 2, and it's coming back in a free update in early 2026, bundled with the Bounty Pack 2. So again, not coming right when the game drops, but instead we can look forward to these. I would imagine end of 2025 into early 2026. We'll see. They might drop them a little bit early, but Pearlescents are the ultimate chase items. So if you're somebody like myself, I've drifted from Destiny because the loot chase is gone. All of your exotics, all of your top end gear, it's all tied to quests. There isn't anything that is like a, oh my God, I cannot believe that just dropped. Instead, it's, woohoo, I finally managed to grind my way through that quest and I got my reward. I'm so excited. The wow factor is gone. So I'm glad Borderlands 4 is going this direction, because this is exactly what this franchise needed. Now, of course, Borderlands has always lived on DLC, and the fourth one is no different. We have bounty packs. These are smaller expansions that add new missions, a boss fight, legendary gear, cosmetics, vehicles, vault cards. The first one is going to arrive towards the end of this year, the second one in the beginning of 2026. And then we also have story packs. So the first one is Mad Ellie and the Vault of the Damned, launching in early 2026. It's a cosmic horror themed, I love it. I cannot wait. I'm hoping there's a lot of Lovecraftian stuff there. It's featuring Ellie and a new region to explore. Very excited there. So together, this mix kind of creates a roadmap that stretches well into 2026, and I'm guessing they probably have stuff even further planned out. I'm really loving what Borderlands 4 is shaping up to be, and I hope they continue on this pace, because if they do, this will be one of the first Borderlands games that has more staying power. Borderlands 3 really missed the mark in a lot of areas. Now, the quality of life and the actual kind of gameplay elements of Borderlands 3 were rock solid, but because of the story and how off-putting it was to a lot of people, that game fell off incredibly quickly. So hopefully Borderlands 4 doesn't make the same mistakes, and their end game system shows that they've learned, and hopefully we'll see a better product in the long term. So let's talk about what this means for all the different types of players. So for new players, being able to skip straight into endgame at level 30 lowers the barrier to entry once you've completed the campaign. It allows you to try out different characters in a more efficient and quicker manner, rather than having to slog through the campaign each and every time. So bravo there. For veterans, seeing pearlescence, invincibles, and weekly loot refreshes mean a steady chase and something that you're going to be able to dive directly into and hit the ground running. For those of you who are skeptical about the game in general, the roadmap looks ambitious, but Borderlands 3 proved execution matters because it missed the mark. And if the rewards don't feel worth it, the weekly grind won't land either. So by them going and providing this roadmap, this seems like they've learned. We'll find out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, on paper it looks great, but the execution piece is the most important thing that we can see. So Borderlands 4 is aiming high. We have a streamlined endgame, weekly rotating content, invincible raid bosses, pearlescent loot, and a DLC roadmap going deep into 2026. But the question is, will Gearbox deliver on this ambition? Or will Borderlands 4 stumble the same way other looter shooters have, over-promising and under-delivering? So guys, with systems this polished, Borderlands 4 is shaping up to be one of the most accessible, rewarding, and modern entries into the series yet. Loot feels meaningful, combat looks fun, it flows, it has some oomph to it, multiplayer is more inviting than ever. There's so much in Borderlands 4 that looks and sounds good. Now, just like I mentioned with Endgame, will they execute? That's the biggest thing. You can put whatever you want on paper. That's fantastic. But until you actually deliver on that promise, it doesn't really mean much. So guys, I'm curious what you have to say. If this helped prep you guys for launch, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, check out our other guides. And guys, I'm really excited for this one. I feel like this has been a long time coming. I hope it doesn't go the route of Diablo 4, where we've been just waiting for it for so long, and then by the time it comes around, it kind of just peters out. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.